I did not hear what Marshawn Lynch said about Russell Wilson. I love beast mode. Man, one of my favorite players. Dude, when he left that team, that was the end of it. When he left that team, Cam Chancellor left that team, all them dudes in that secondary, Richard Sherman and all them brothers out there, man, those guys were awesome. They were a brotherhood. They were all a brotherhood, man. They were brothers on that side of the ball. Michael Bennett. What a great brotherhood you had in that whole entire group. Cam Chancellor, Michael Bennett, Richard Sherman. Those guys, it was a tremendous brotherhood. Just absolutely amazing on what they did together. Then what they decided to do was put the team in the hands of Russell Wilson. And what did you get out of that? Pete Carroll kept going, he's not the reason we're winning. He's not. Okay? Pete Carroll's now rebuilt Seattle without him. Went to the playoffs. Russell Wilson looks like shit. Earl Thomas, another part of that brotherhood. What a great group of men on the hey, by the way, who wasn't Dan Quinn up there too? Dan Quinn was up there as part of the defensive coaching staff up there too. You had Dan Quinn. I forget you had that other guy up there too, who was part of the defense, and he was like the assistant D coordinator too. Okay. Just love what Pete Carroll's a Hall of Fame coach. Russell Wilson. He looks terrible without Pete. Okay? Just terrible. Terrible, man. Pete called that dumbass play. Pete called the dumbass play in the national title game, too. When he went for it on, what was it, 4th down? Texas SC game. Came back to haunt him. Young goes down the sidelines, and they win the Super Bowl. He has 2 big games where you selected play calling there, hurt him. In so many words, he basically said Wilson thought he was above his teammates. And Pete Carroll coddled Wilson. Also, at one point, when he was in Seattle, Lynch tried to give Wilson a phone call, but didn't have his number. He asked the staff for Wilson's number, and instead Wilson called Lynch from a blocked number. And that's a guy you guys made a trade for. And the only reason Russell Wilson's not the starting quarterback in Philadelphia is because he voided the deal, not because they didn't make the deal. Sometimes the best moves are the moves you don't make. The Eagles lucked out. Marshawn Lynch ain't going to lie for anybody. If that guy says something, I pretty much would put it in stone. Dude, Russell Wilson was difficult to coach. Holy shit, man. You got to kiss that. Do you think they kissed Jalen Hurts' ass in Philly? Do you think they're kissing his ass in Philly? Boy, I do not. I think Jalen welcomes being coached hard because he was coached hard by his dad. Do you think there's a coincidence Brady was coached hard? Hurts is coached hard? Tom Moore coached Peyton Manning hard in Indianapolis? Do you think there's any coincidence to that? I don't think so. Hurts wouldn't even let it happen. They're not coddling them. That's why when we're talking about his standard of where he sees himself right now, you're the only softies. Don't be so mean when he's being meaner than I am to his own self. You guys are the ones that are the weak ones. He's playing A+ football. He don't believe that. I would say this to you. How about this one? What grade do you think Jalen Hurts is giving himself right now? What grade do you think Jalen's giving himself? This is all you need to know about people who answer, about the person who's answering the question, more than about the question itself. So answer correctly. Wheels, I don't think he would think he's doing an F. I don't think he's there. Incomplete? I don't think he's a fence straddler. Tone, what do you think Grady's giving himself? Chris, you think he really thinks he's doing D? Don't you think he's probably looking at himself as a D plus, C, C minus, somewhere in there? And where he thinks he is right now? Yeah, C minus. C's probably being a little bit. But yet you guys see him, some of you see him as an A, B. That's all you need to know on how certain people in here answer questions that I ask you guys. C plus, Frederick, maybe, because you know why, Frederick, why I would probably go C plus? Is because he's dealing with a shitty coordinator, and he saw signs of them pulling out of it in the second half of the Washington game. Jalen has to deal with two things going on right. Hey, by the way, the opponents aren't holding Jalen Hurts back. The organization is. He's fighting a coordinator. He's fighting different schemes. He's fighting what Boomer Esiason said 2 weeks ago is becoming more to the point. He's got to learn to play with his contract too. Notice that everyone is saying C, but they are screaming A plus from the mountaintop. Yeah, when I give it to him, though, and I asked it from his perspective, you see it differently. I really like that question. Whoever asked that question about what, Sills, if you didn't use the coordinators as part of the evaluation, what would you give Jalen Hurts? And I said probably I would probably give him, with all the things he's battling, a B plus. But Jalen's going to be harder on himself, probably C plus, C in there, C minus maybe. Yeah, Senor, I mean, the coordinator itself, okay? The coordinator is killing, and the coordinator and Howie are killing Jalen Hurts.